Hey, what is going on, guys? This is Beanie, and welcome back to another roster prediction video. Guys, before I start the video, I just want to say thank you for the support on the last video. It already has over 1,000 views. You guys seem to be really enjoying it, so if you would, on this video, I worked really hard on this series. It's a little more labor-intensive than some of my other series, so if you could just go ahead and leave a like on the video. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. I would really appreciate it. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into the National League upgrade predictions. Okay, starting out with my favorite team, the Braves. First, we're going to start out with Kurt Suzuki. Kurt Suzuki had a really sneaky, quiet, amazing year last year. I mean, he was in like the high teens in home runs, and he only had like 300 and something at bats. He really just kind of burst out last year. It was very odd, especially for an older player who had been kind of established. Like, everybody kind of knew what he was, but apparently we didn't, because he has been killing the ball lately. Right now he is slashing 327, 409, 600 with 4 home runs. He is murdering the ball, and if last year is to be believed, this pace might be for real. And if it is, he could be getting some contact upgrades, so definitely some power upgrades, and if that happens, Kurt Suzuki could go gold sooner rather than later. Another guy that's been killing it, to the surprise of everyone, is Dansby Swanson. Dansby Swanson had a terrible year last year. Everybody knows it. Everybody knows how awful he was. But to start out this year, he is slashing 326, 376, 512. Already has 2 home runs, has several doubles. He's really just, his whole approach at the plate looks different this year, and it looks like he could be a guy that could get some defensive upgrades. He's been very good defensively. Maybe a stealing upgrade. He's been stealing the base, he's been stealing more often. I can't talk right now. And especially in hitting. He could be getting some significant contact upgrades and maybe even some power upgrades if he continues to sport a 512 slugging percentage. Why not, you know? But then the guy that everybody that really watches my channel knows that I want to talk about is Ozzie freaking Albles. Now, I will say this. Ozzie has kind of been in a slump the past, like, game or two. I think right now he's sporting like an 0 for 14 in his last 14 at-bats or something like that. He's kind of cooled off a little bit, but he started out the year on fire, and his numbers are still really freaking good right now. He's slashing 274, 317, 579 with 6 home runs. He's leading the league in extra base hits. He gets a ton of doubles. He's fast. He plays good defense. He's just kind of hit a bit of a snag the past couple of games, but I'm very confident. Anybody that followed Ozzie Albles as a prospect knows that his hit tool is going to be fine. He's going to be a guy that can have seasons where he hits over 300. The big thing about Ozzie, though, that's come to people's surprise, is the power. He has been hitting for power ever since he come up into the majors, and if that continues, if he can be a guy that can hit 20, 25 home runs a year, Ozzie Albles is a superstar. He's a long-term investment that you could maybe see going diamond by the end of the year if he continues to play the way he started out the season. Now, obviously, he's not going to hit 40 home runs or anything like that, but a 20 to 25 home run Ozzie Albles is a bona fide superstar because of everything else that he brings to his game. I don't know how fast Ozzie will go up to silver, gold, maybe even diamond, but I do believe that at least gold is coming by the end of the year. And I'm talking a little bit more about the Braves guys just because I know a little bit more about them than any other team, but those are the 3 for the Braves that I could see getting some early upgrades. They also have some pitchers that are doing well. Mike Foltynewicz is pitching pretty well right now. We'll see if that continues, but those are the 3 guys that I could see getting upgrades pretty quickly. So let's move on to the Mets. Well, so first off, the Marlins. I really don't see anybody on the Marlins right now that is really all that intriguing guys that I think are going to get a boost really early. Starlin Castro has been playing okay, but for the most part, I don't really see much with the Marlins. The Nationals, though, also, I don't see a lot with the Nationals either. They do have some guys that are playing pretty well right now, but nobody that's really playing above their stats. or their attributes in the game. Nobody that I could see as like an immediate upgrade candidate. So yeah, they don't have any big upgrade predictions for them either. So now let's move on to the Mets. The Mets, they have one guy. They have several guys that are worth monitoring right now that are playing really well, but most of them are playing like pretty much up to expectations as far as their attributes and stuff goes. But Asdrubal Cabrera is absolutely destroying the ball right now. He's slashing 349, 391, 590 with 4 home runs. He's murdering the ball. If this continues for Asdrubal Cabrera, he is an older guy, so they might be a little slower to move him. But if he can maintain a 300-plus average while hitting, you know, the occasional home run and continuing to do what he's done over the course of his entire career, you know, play decent defense and all that good stuff, he could be a guy that could get bumped up to like a high silver maybe. Because, I mean, he has had a really good career. He's just a little bit on the older side, so people, I mean, somebody said 32 is not that old, but in baseball terms, I mean, just look at what contracts free agents sign that are over 30 nowadays. It's not very good. The aging curve is real, so you can probably expect a little bit of a regression out of Cabrera, but he started out on fire, and if it keeps up, he could be an upgrade candidate. So moving on to the Phillies. The Phillies have a couple guys that are really just killing it out of the gate. The first one is Aaron Nola. He's already a gold, and he's kind of performing like a gold would right now, but he's looked excellent doing it. Right now, he's sitting on a 2.30 ERA with a .93 whip in 31.1 innings. The only thing that I would like to see a little improvement on with Aaron Nola is his strikeouts. He's only struck out 24 guys in those 31 innings, so that could maybe stand for a little bit of improvement. There are also a lot of guys like Jake Arrieta's pitched really well. He just hasn't pitched enough for me to really justify giving him like a big upgrade prediction. I think he's only pitched like 16 innings or something like that. Once he gets a few more innings under his belt, he keeps performing. He could be a guy that could be an upgrade candidate. But Aaron Nola definitely could be a long-term guy. He just looks like an ace for the Phillies. He really does. I'm a big Aaron Nola guy. Even though I hate the Phillies, I think he has a really bright future ahead of him. And he's only 24, so they might be pretty anxious to kind of jack him up a little bit. The other guy is obviously, I mean, my God, what else can you say about this guy? Rhys Hoskins, man. He's unbelievable. Right now, he's slashing 328, 495, 612 with 4 home runs. He's just hitting the ball all over the place. I mean, he was kind of a top prospect coming up, but nobody thought that his bat was going to be this good. But it just is. It is. This is a guy that's obviously going to be a gold player, maybe even a diamond player. You know, his defense and his speed and all that might limit his eventual upside. But right now, I mean, my God, whenever he's hitting like this, you can just feel, he just feels like a guy that is going to be a superstar, a diamond level superstar. And I hate to say that because it scares the hell out of me as a Braves fan, but he just does. There are some other guys on the Phillies that are worth monitoring that aren't playing that well right now, but I'm a big believer in. The biggest one out of them is Scott Kingery. I've been on the Scott Kingery bandwagon for a long, long time now, and I think that he has an incredibly bright future ahead of him. I love everything about him, and it'll be really interesting to see the battle between him and Ozzie Albles for best second baseman in the NL East. Well, I guess once Daniel Murphy leaves, of course, but yeah, Scott Kingery has a really bright future ahead of him, and yeah, that'll do it for the Phillies. But now let's move on to the Cubs, who have a couple guys who are extremely exciting right now. The first is Kyle Schwarber. Where is he? Where is Schwarb Daddy? Schwarb Daddy had a bad year last year. He was Schwarb Baby last year. He wasn't Schwarb Daddy. But this year he is redeeming himself in a huge way. Hitting 302, 413, 635 with 6 home runs. What is that? That's good for a 300-plus ISO. Destroying the ball. He looks like the guy that we always thought that he was. you know, I mean, obviously he's never going to be a good defender. He probably is better suited for the American League, but offensively, it doesn't get a whole lot better. Whenever Kyle Schwarber is hitting, he's one of the best hitters in baseball. So, you know, he could, if he can maintain like a 280 plus average and continue to hit like this, he could see power gains against lefties, maybe even against righties, and he's going to see some contact gains too. As long as he keeps hitting, he's going to be going up. His defense is going to limit his overall upside. It might even prevent him from going up to like even maybe a gold, but you know, he's going to be an offensive monster. So so we'll see. We'll see what the future has in store for him. Sorry about that. The other guy that the Cubs that's just killing it right now is Javier Baez, another young player, another young former top prospect that I don't know, Javier Baez's career is so far has been kind of disappointing for me, because I had like these big visions of like superstar in my mind, and he's just been very good. But this year it looks like he could be turning into that superstar type player. Right now he's hitting 299, so pretty good, but he's slashing 299, 365, 740. He has a 740 slugging percentage right now. He's hit 7 home runs. The power is finally starting to show up in a big time way for Javier Baez, and if the power starts to show up in a big time way I mean, his power has been fine his first few years, but if it starts to do what it's doing right now, sky's the limit for this guy. He's going to be killing it. So Javier Baez, with those 7 home runs and that 740 slug, if he keeps up any approximation of that, you're going to see his power go into the low 70s probably, and he could be an easy gold upgrade. Easy gold upgrade. So I think Javier Baez is probably one of the safer investments this year. I could see him going gold fairly easy. Well, I say that safe in the fact that I think he's going to go gold. It might not be the most financially sound decision though, considering that he's going for 1,400 stubs. So so just keep an eye out for that. But that is it for the Cubs, I believe. Let's move on to the Reds. The Reds have not been playing well at all, but Eugenio Suarez is a really intriguing upgrade candidate for them, because right now he's sporting a 1,054 OPS. He's always been a very solid hitter, but a 1,000 plus OPS is on a whole nother level for him. He's doing it in kind of a different way. I think he only has like 3 home runs, but he has lots of extra base hits. He's just right now he's just hitting all around a very solid. And all he needs is like a little bitty bump to get him to that gold level. So you know, if he can just go from 62 contact to like 65 contact, that would probably be enough to make him into a gold player. So I think that he is a guy to monitor as the season goes along. If he continues to put up really good OPSs and stuff like that, he's a guy to monitor that could go gold. So keep your eye out for Eugenio Suarez. Moving on to the Brewers. The Brewers are kind of an interesting team. They have a lot of guys that are playing really well right now, but nobody that's really playing that much further above their attributes. So that it's hard to find an upgrade candidate, because I think all of these attributes, for the most part, are pretty spot on. But they do have one guy who I could see maybe getting a small upgrade, and that is Travis Shaw. Right now, Shaw is hitting 291, 390, 547 with 5 home runs. That is great. That's fantastic. And, you know, he's already a very solid hitter in MLB this show, but I don't know, maybe it could stand to get a little bit of a boost versus lefties or righties. I don't really know what his splits are, but he's hitting really good right now. Keeps it up, he could be seeing some small upgrades. But moving on from the Brewers, we have the Pirates, and the Pirates, they have a pitcher that's doing really well right now. Jameson Taillon, is that how you say his last name? Taillon? But yeah, he has a 2.86 ERA, a .91 WHIP. which is fantastic. He's always had really good command and stuff like that. So if Taillon can keep that up, he is definitely going to be a star for the Pirates. But a 2.86 ERA in only 22 innings though. So SDS might be a little more skeptical, even though he is a top prospect with a high pedigree and stuff like that. Might be a little bit more skeptical, and they might wait just a little while, wait for him to get 50, 60 innings under his belt of sub-3 ERA before they bump him up, but he is a guy to monitor for the Pirates. And then the Cardinals, oh my God. The Cardinals have so many guys right now to monitor, to keep an eye on and maybe even pull the trigger and invest in. First off, start with Tommy Pham, hitting .348, 477, 522, got 3 home runs, murdering the ball. Just killing it. Tommy Pham is on the verge of becoming a superstar. He really is. I love everything about him. 5-tool type guy. He's fantastic. Another guy, Yadier Molina. I'm not really sold that Yadier is that what we've seen from him early on is for real. I don't think it is. We have years and years and years, like 14 years worth of evidence that Yadier Molina is a guy that sports a 150 or like a 130 to 160 type ISO. And this year he has like a 250 plus ISO with 6 home runs. And he's also hitting over 300. He's been killing the ball to start out the season, but I'm not sold that it's for real. And I don't think SDS will be either, given the fact that he's 35. We know what type of player he is for the most part. So unless he's made some dramatic improvements to his game, I think that what we saw is what we're going to get in the future from Yadier, which is still a very good gold level player, but not a guy that's going to hit for a 250 plus ISO. So be kind of skeptical of him, but just kind of monitor him, know that he's doing well, and if he keeps it up, maybe he's an investment. But right now, I don't think so. Next up, Paul DeJong. He's kind of like the secret sauce this year. He's like this year's Jake Lamb or something. He's just so good offensively for a silver, and he's hitting really well to start the season. He has an 886 OPS with 7 home runs. He's not hitting for as much average as you would kind of want him to, but he is hitting for a lot of power. So if he can get that average up and the power, and he can maintain that power, I don't know, could be a gold guy. He doesn't have that far to go to get to gold. The only thing that might limit his upside is the fact that he's a bat-first shortstop, doesn't have a lot of defense. So he might have to get a couple defensive upgrades if he wants to get to that gold tier. But I don't know, maybe he could be a guy to look for. They also have a couple guys just to kind of monitor. One of them is Jose Martinez. He's playing really well right now. He was kind of a secret stud last year. So he's a guy to keep your eye on. He's very good offensively already, but he could stand to maybe get an upgrade later on in the season, especially if he can start hitting for a little bit more power. Harrison Bader, where is he? He is down here. He's already a bronze. Nice. He's playing pretty good. He doesn't have a lot of at-bats, but he is a top prospect. Like kind of a fringy top 100 prospect type guy. And he's a guy that I've always been kind of high on. I've always just kind of liked Harrison Bader. I've always thought that he had a lot of upside. So keep your eye out on him. He's had a pretty decent start to his career. But then the big guy for the Cardinals that is just, I can't believe how much he's murdering it right now, is Carlos Martinez. Carlos Martinez right now has a 142 ERA with 31.2 innings pitched, 37 strikeouts, 114 whip. He's killing it. He's destroying everybody. He's actually not the guy that's unbelievable. The guy that's unbelievable is actually coming up next, but he's doing really, really well. And you know, he's still relatively young. I mean, well, he's still very young, really. I mean, 26 is very, very young for a baseball player. But he's killing it, and he's a very high pedigree guy. Could be a diamond candidate if he can keep this up. I mean, he has the stuff for it. Really the only thing that's kind of held him back is just himself. You know, if he lets himself go, if he can maintain like a nice little 142 ERA, if he can stop walking people. He's walking a few too many people with that 114 314 whip. He's not giving up that many hits, but he is walking just a little bit too, a few too many guys right now. So if he can cut down on that, he can be a diamond guy by the end of the year potentially. Next up for the Diamondbacks, this guy is the guy that's doing unbelievable right now. Patrick freaking Corbin. Now, I will say Patrick Corbin is 28. He's been in the league for a while, but sometimes you just have those late blooming pitchers. Patrick Corbin looks like a candidate for something like that. Right now, he has a 1.89 ERA, so there are pitchers out there with better ERAs right now. It's early in the season, small sample size, that whole thing. But he has a .66 whip, which is phenomenal right now. He's thrown 33.1 innings, so it's a larger sample than you've seen from a lot of other pitchers. And he has 48 fucking strikeouts right now in 33 innings. That K per 9 is due for a freaking boost. That hit per 9 with a .66 whip is due for a freaking boost. This guy, I'm very, very, very confident that he is going to be an early upgrade candidate. I think that this is probably my most solid call that he is going to be going up in this video so far. Very, very confident that Patrick Corbin is going to get a nice, decent upgrade very, very soon. And then, also for the Diamondbacks, we have AJ Pollock, a former gold player. A former kind of five-tool guy. He's never really had a lot of much of an arm, but I guess kind of a four-tool type guy. But right now he's slashing 282, 345, 603, 5 home runs, killing it at the plate. He has 6 stolen bases. He's only been caught once. He's played good defense. Just all around doing really well. Hopefully he can get the contact and power up versus righties a little bit, and if he does that, he's going to be a gold player and a very intriguing investment opportunity for you going forward. Really, I think he can maintain what he's doing right now, 282, 345, 603 with 5 home runs. If he can just maintain this pace, he'll go gold. He will. I'm very confident in that. The only thing about AJ is he's very injury prone. So, if he wants to go gold, he's going to have to stay healthy. But if he stays healthy, I think he's a gold. No doubt about it. So, moving on from the Diamondbacks. The Rockies, they don't really have anybody that is really under or overperforming for them. I think they're all kind of right on the money. The Dodgers, Yasmani Grandal, the only guy on the Dodgers right now who I think is maybe worthy of an upgrade. He's slashing 328, 423, 552 with 3 home runs. He's really just performing really well right now. He's hitting the ball. Everybody knows like his defense is always going to be very solid. He's always one of those guys that always has like really, really high wins above replacement numbers, and he just kind of sneaks up on you. But this year he's doing it in a much louder fashion. I mean, if he can hit any approximate like 90% of what he's doing right now, he's going to be one of the most valuable catchers in the league and a definite gold candidate going forward. Next up for the Padres, and this one really surprised me. I've never even heard of this guy, to be honest. He's not like a big-time former top prospect or anything like that. But Christian Villanueva, 26 years old, my God. Right now, he's hitting 355, 444, 774 with 7 home runs. This is a fucking common player. This might be the only guy that I'm more confident in him getting an upgrade than Patrick Corbin. This guy needs to be at least a bronze, maybe even better. Like, I mean, I know that this is a small sample size and everything, but 355, 444, 774, he's a good hitter. You can't have almost a month's worth of baseball under your belt, hit this good, and not be at least a bronze level player. He's easily that level. So he's going up. If he maintains this, my God, look out. I don't know a lot about him, so I don't know how sustainable any of this really is, and I haven't looked at his batted ball profile. I don't know I just don't know a lot about him. I don't know what his BABIP is. I don't know what his hard contact percentage is or anything like that. I didn't really have time to look any of that up, but he's murdering the ball. He's hitting better than probably anyone in the league right now. So keep your eye out on Christian Villanueva. Very, very intriguing upgrade candidate in the future. So, yeah, that's it for the Padres. And finally, the San Francisco Giants have a couple of players. First, let's start out with the hitter, Brandon Belt. Always just, for his whole career, he's just been a solid-ass first baseman for the San Francisco Giants. Right now, he's hitting .292, .397, .615 with 6 home runs. I think he's a little better than a 75 overall. He might not be gold level. He was last year, or at least his card, he was a gold card last year, but maybe they downgraded him because of his year last year or whatever. But I think they may have went a little too far. I think that he kind of deserves to be in that 78, 79 range. And right now he's hitting really well. So if he can maintain this pace hitting, he is going to get there. The next guy, Johnny freaking Cueto. Holy cow, Johnny Cueto has been really good so far. He has a .35 ERA, holy cow, a .65 whip, holy cow. He's done that in 26 innings. The only problem with him right now is he's not striking out that many guys. He only has 23 strikeouts. So he might need to get that up just a little bit, but not really. I mean, 23 and 25, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that, especially when you have a .35 ERA and a .65 whip. This could be the first guy to go gold this year. It could be. He very well could be. He's pitching like his old self. And if it continues, he's an easy gold candidate. I think last year he actually started as a diamond last year, I believe. So I think that they won't make any bones about upgrading him very, very quickly, because last year looks kind of like just a flash in the pan so far. So Johnny Cueto, I think, is a very good gold candidate, and I think he is a good guy to end on. That is going to do it for this week's upgrade predictions. Guys, if you enjoyed this, please leave a like. It would really, really help me out. Please, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. Share this with a friend if you have a friend that's into MLB The Show. I would really appreciate it. I love all you guys. I will see all you guys later, but until then, peace.